Hello, how's it going? Once again, we're in my slightly echoey living room in my new house because I haven't quite figured out the whole man cave recording situation yet. Here is my Trinity Revtech. I am not calling it the X Factor. I really like this motor, despite the fact that it has a baby blue end plate, which is hideous. I really like this motor. I like the revvy nature of it. I like the power delivery. And I am a Trinity fanboy, really. When I started racing GT12 about 3 years ago now, maybe coming up for 4 years ago, I had a slow motor and I needed to upgrade quite quickly in my Schumacher Atom 2. And everybody said, get the Hobby Wing. I think it was the G3 at the time. It's nice and grunty and it goes really well. People said, don't really look at the Revtech because it's a bit too revvy and a bit too lacking in grunt. But I thought, well, my Trinity Revenge of the Monster Pro back in the day when I raced touring cars was very revvy and had lacking in grunt, and you just geared it down and it was a flying machine. Why can't it be the same for this? So I got it against everybody's advice, and I really like this motor. It is rapid. It's so quick. Yes, it runs a bit hotter than the Hobby Wings. Yes, it does lack a little bit of grunt compared to the Hobby Wings. But the top end is amazing. And it's cool, and it's a Trinity, so that's it. However, I made a video not that long ago entitled Help, My Trinity Revtech Motor is Failing. Because at the time, towards the end of a race, but randomly, it seemed to be sort of temperature related or load related, but not entirely, because it was a bit random. It would start to stutter on power. So the thing about these is the quality control in Trinity is not very good when it comes to the sensor boards. And this particular one, the sensors are about 7 degrees out. And that's the second sensor board I've tried. It's rubbish. So the consensus was, well, your Trinity's, not the best made motor in the world. They do run hot, and maybe it's time to change motor. So I bought the G4, Hobby Wing V10 G4. And it also stuttered. As near as makes no difference, £100, and it didn't solve the issue. So I got this new Hobby Wing V10 G4. Annoyingly, a matter of about a week and a half, 2 weeks before they announced and released the V10 G4R for the same price. Never mind. So I got the G4 and the problem didn't go away. So I dropped another £200 on one of these. This is the one that failed, my Hobby Wing Z-Run XR10 Pro. This is the speed controller. This is what failed. So if I'd spent the 200 in the first place, I wouldn't have had to spend another 100 on a motor, but I didn't know it was either the motor or ESC. I tried all the little things you do, recalibrating, all the rest of it. Yeah, so I ran this for a little while, but my results slumped. It turns out I've got quite a bad throttle control for, quite a heavy left thumb. It goes from on and off. It doesn't have any progressive movement whatsoever. Binary, if you want. So the extra grunt was just causing me issues. And I ran at it for maybe just over 6 months, and my results weren't great. Went back to the Revtech because it was proven not to be the issue, and with my new one of these, everything was fine, and I've been running it ever since. However, quite recently, I was running a meeting at the club and all was going well. I can't remember if I was first or second, but either way I was fighting very closely with a guy either right in front or right behind me. And towards the end of the race, the car just lost power. It went soft. The power delivery went soft. And if you don't know what that means, it just means the punchy, explosive power was just not there. It was lacking. It took longer to build up the pace, and the top end wasn't quite there anymore. It just, it wasn't great. And then it stopped. It just completely stopped dead. It went soft for maybe 3, 4 laps, 5 laps, and then it died. I didn't know what it was. I waited till the end of the race. I checked the motor for temperature. Didn't seem that hot at all. So I was like, it was probably not the motor then, but the AC wasn't hot. So I was like, well, was it the batteries? My batteries beginning to fail. I charged up my battery again, hoping for the best. I replaced it because I use 2 batteries every, alternate between 2 of them. So for the next race, I was using a different battery anyway. And the same thing happened at the end of the race. It went soft and stopped. Okay, that's 2 races down. What's happened now? What's going on? I didn't know. Again, the motor wasn't hot when I went off the track. You pull over at the side of the track, wait for the race, motor wasn't hot. So I geared down for the 3rd race, geared down a tooth. I thought, well, I don't know what it is, but it's towards the end of the race, so maybe I need to take a bit of load off. Geared down, didn't help. 3rd race, still went soft, still cut out. Only this time, I did get a little bit further. So this time when it cut out closer to the end of the race, I got to the motor while it was still freshly stopped, and it was still scalding hot. Obviously in other races, when it stopped, I pulled over and I was waiting for the rest of the race to finish, maybe a couple of minutes. My fan above the motor was still going, cooling it down, so obviously by the time I got there it was cold. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a soldering iron with me. I couldn't just plug this thing in. So I geared down another 2 teeth for the final. And it got to the end of the final this time, although it still got a bit soft at the end, and it still got very hot, and it was so slow. You know, it was 3 teeth lower than it should have been. It had no top end whatsoever. So after all that time, my X Factor had, in fact, I call it an X Factor. Oh well, never mind. Since I bought that, there's an older motor now, 2019. Since I bought that, the market's moved on a bit. Trinity's own slot machine has been out for a while. Obviously, the G4R is out. I obviously have the G4 sitting here. Surpass motors have come on. So there's plenty to choose from now on the motor market. So what motor do you think I went for to replace my another Revtech? Yep. Yeah, another one. Yep. So here's what happened, right? The guy who's currently club champion in our club came to me a few months before this all happened and said, I've got a spare Revtech, are you interested in buying it? How many did he have? Well, he had 3. This guy takes his racing seriously. He trues his tyres out the packet. He uses as little paint as possible on the body shell to keep the weight down. He goes on about that fictional thing called rollout. Anyway, point is, he's got a motor analyzer and he sets up every single motor and he marks whichever one he is the best and all the rest of it. So he's like, look, I've got this motor, it's a good one. I don't know how close the sensors are on this, but I know it's better than the one I currently have. He did admit it was the 3rd best of the 3, hence why he was selling this one. But he said, look, trust me, it's still a very good motor. And the guy's honest, so fair enough. So I got it for a good price as a spare Revtech, months before any of this happened. And obviously this has now all happened, and I had a choice of using his old Revtech and or my G4. Well, I like the Revtech, as I said. I don't think my binary, I've tried to work on it a little bit to be fair, but I don't think my binary throttle control is really any better. When I'm very conscious about it, I use it, especially when the grip's low, but see when I'm scrapping for a final and there's people around me and I'm fighting them and it's all manic, it goes out the window. So yeah, I'm better off using something with a little bit of less grunt. But no, this is really good. This one, I've ran it twice at the time of recording this, for 2 race meetings, so that's 8 races, and it's good. Yeah, it's good. I don't know if it's got quite the top end of mine, because it obviously his was the 3rd best one in his collection. I don't know where this one would place, but this one was always quite good. But it's a good motor and it goes well. So that's it solved. I did get a row from the guy who sold me this because he, like I say, he takes it seriously. I mean, here's an example. Just randomly pulling a load of fluff out of the inside of my old Revtech. He asked me when the last time I rebuilt my motor was, because he rebuilds his motors every couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I said, well, I've owned the motor for about 3.5 years, so never. He's like, what, you've never rebuilt the motor the entire time you've owned it? Like, no, never rebuilt the motor, no. And he's like, well, all the rubbish, all the black crud, all the fibres that go inside it. I'm like, well, no wonder it's overheating then. So Yeah, I have obviously replaced the sensor board, but I don't think I took it to bits and rebuilt it. And even if I did, that was still at least 2.5 to 3 years ago. So I ran this one twice, and it's already due his schedule of rebuild, not mine, so we won't worry about it. What he's going to do is he's going to take my original one away, and he's going to rebuild it for me and put it on the motor analyzer thing and see if it can be saved, see if it is goosed or not, and see how the performance compares to that one, for example, or at least compared to his existing two. He probably can't remember what that one is. And we'll see where this places, because I like this motor and it'd be good to keep it running. And if the motor itself is salvageable, I might keep it as a spare. I might put it in my Team Lofty touring car, because one day we'll run the touring cars again at our local fun club. We're going to start that up again, and we're going to go over to brushless. So I'll just use this to replace the old Avenge the Monster Pro. But it sounds a bit rough. It's on its original bearings and everything, so yeah, it could be the bearings are short, or it's all cruddy inside or whatever. But there you are. My fault, probably. But I just don't take it serious enough. I just, I take the racing seriously, and I give it my all, and I try and practice good racecraft as much as I can, and I let people pass their lap on me and all the rest of it. And I try and marshal as well as I can and all the rest of it. But when it comes, and I do set it up, every week I'll test, I'll service my shocks and I'll check the ride height and I'll adjust it and all the rest of it. But this guy rebuilds his car every few weeks. He rebuilds his motors every few weeks. He does the truing. He does all the rest of it. He got his app, the rollout and everything. I'm just like, if it feels quick down the straight, I'm fine. If it's slow, I gear it differently. I don't take it that seriously. It's just a laugh, really. But I don't know how long you're supposed to run Lycos, but I've run those for a few years now as well. It's quick down the straight. What more do I want? It's absolutely fine. Anyway, yeah, so there you are. My Revtech did fail, but hopefully it can be salvaged, and I'm running a Revtech anyway. So I said it's now got a mark on it, because he's obviously marked to see which one's which. Yes, so not much has changed. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.